Hello lovely simmers, Simsy Claire and welcome back to my channel. For today's video we are doing a community lot using the new pack. Now I am going to give a little bit of a disclaimer, this is not only the new pack, and quite honestly it's not even a lot of the new pack. I was kind of just inspired by the whole New Orleans vibe and I really wanted to create a speakeasy because those are really popular down there, and as I like to go to bars, I'm not gonna lie. And I've always considered speakeasies to be like super cool and super fun, and I've always wanted to go to one. We don't actually have any where I live. We have a bar that me and my sister go to quite a bit, and it's designed after an old speakeasy, but it's not, I mean, it's not as cool as, and it's also a little bit more Prohibition era than straight speakeasy, but it's the closest thing we have here in my area, so we always have a lot of fun going there. And while I was looking at inspiration pictures, and I was looking at homes in the French Quarter actually, but pictures of speakeasies and like buildings on the street of the French Quarter just kept popping up instead, and so I was like, okay, well, I mean, I like this vibe, I think you guys will like this vibe. It's a little different, it's not a home, it'll show, you know, the versatility of some of the items in this pack, so I thought, why not, let's just go for it. And one of the things that I really wanted to incorporate in this build was the alleyway tables. So something that you see a lot in TV shows and movies that involve New Orleans is how they create, because there's a lot of small alleyways and there's a lot of, you know, in between buildings type of things, they create these little seating areas outside if they don't have a lot of space on the inside by utilizing the space in between the buildings. And so I went into the debug menu and I found this really old, decrepit looking building that kind of looked as though it matched the brickwork of the area in Willow Creek that I'm currently building in. And I put it up snug right up against the, I think that's the nightclub in Willow Creek, and I put it up snug right up against it, so that way there was just a little bit of walking space in between the building that I'm building, which is the Speakeasy on the left in orange, and that building on the right. And then I completely retiled it. I made it brick or cobblestone, I think technically it is, and that's where the outdoor seating, and honestly the majority of the seating, is going to be for this speakeasy. So I thought that was really cool. I've never used the debug buildings before because I've never really seen a purpose for them, but this, now I understand why we have those debug buildings, and I think that it is such a cool idea, and I really was happy with how it came out. But now we're finishing up some of the exterior stuff. So as I always do with my community builds, I wanted to make sure that this kind of fit in with the exterior. It looked as though it wasn't a home. It didn't have all these grass patches. It didn't have all this landscaping. It had items that made it look like a town center, or, you know, like the French Quarter. So I went around and I did some planter boxes so that way they weren't planted in the ground. I have these, I start off with these flower poles right here from Get Together, and I really liked how they looked, but I wanted it to be street lamps because there is a lot of street lamps in the French Quarter and on all streets like this, if we're being totally honest. So I do end up finding some get to work street lamps that have plants hanging from them, but then in the screenshots I delete them because they were blocking the view of the build. So I did decide to just delete them in the screenshots, that way it wasn't obstructing anyone's view. But then I lined these barricades up in case, you know, so that way people know they can't walk that way or can't ride their bikes that way. That's strictly a, you know, for the building that we're building area. And then I extend the pathway from the little back alleyway area up to the front, so that way there's easily accessible pathways. And I don't do a lot up here besides that. Here's where I switch out those street lamps. I was initially going to merge the two together, but then the plants kind of intersected in a weird way, so I decided against it. And I was going to place these toddler lights up here at the front because I really wanted there to be string lights, but they weren't quite fitting. But you'll see in the back, which we're about to get to probably in like 5 seconds, I end up kind of like merging some of them together and overlaying some of them and raising them up, so that way all of the lighting for the back patio area is these toddler street lights. And I think that it's just, it makes it seem more realistic because a lot of places like this do just have street lights because they've or string lights, because they've basically just converted an unusable empty alleyway into their dining space. So they don't have, there's not like plugs out there, there's not formal lighting fixtures, it's just these rundown street lights or string lights that they have, that they make work. And I think that it looks really cool. I haven't seen it at night yet. I am though going to go and get a picture at night so I can see what it looks like, and hopefully sneak this in, if I don't forget, sneak it in to the screenshots at the end of this video, so that way you guys don't miss out on that experience. But obviously if you end up downloading it, you'll see it at night anyway. But I am excited to see how it looks. And then I'm adding these get together tables out here. So this lot, as you probably saw some either in the description or the title, I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put it, this lot does function as a bar, a cafe, and a restaurant. So you can use it as either three. It'll function as all of them in your game. Just make sure if you are trying to switch them, you switch it before you load the lot, because you cannot switch build types once you're in the lot. You can't, like, you have to switch it beforehand. So if you have it in there as a bar and then you get there and you want to have it as a restaurant, you have to go back to the manage. Yeah, you have to go back to manage worlds, click on the build option for the lot, and then switch it before you load up your game, because you can't do it in live mode. And I just wanted to say that because one of my other builds I had functioned as either a retail store or a cafe, and someone commented that they couldn't get it to switch. But you do have to be in build mode in order to switch it. You can't do it in live mode. But now we're on into the interior, and I did actually leave the floor planning into this build because there's only 2 extra rooms. One is for the kitchen, one is for the bathroom. So there needed to be a kitchen in order for this to function as a restaurant, and there needs to be a bathroom in order for it to function as either of the 3. So I definitely knew I needed that space, which is why I'm glad I decided to make it 2-story, because initially I was just going to make it 1 because I didn't think I'd need that much room, and then I didn't have enough space to put a toilet downstairs, and I was like, okay, well, now we know. And then over here, in order for it to function as a cafe, you do need the espresso bar. So I got a bar that matched the espresso bar from Get Together, so that way I could just kind of like merge the 2 together. And then back here, this is where it was kind of inspired by my local bar. So my local bar has all these pipes and stuff that cover the lines for their beer taps. So there's all these like industrial pipes over by the side of their bar, and I added some industrial pipes here. I also added some wood pieces because I figured that this place would have, well, I wanted it to have a lot of plants, so I put these wood pieces up so that way it kind of looked like the plants were hanging from the wood pieces. And then you also need a TV on bar lots. So I placed the TV in between the 2 hanging plants in case you don't want to actually use it, or you want to forget that it exists like I usually do when I play The Sims in bars. Then you can kind of just pretend it's not there. And then I added the hostess stand outside because I didn't really know where else to put it on the inside. I didn't have the space. But I was also short on bar stools because you need 4 stools in order for it to count as a bar. So over here I built this functional little shelf area to put like bar stools. I merged some bar height tables into a shelf, and then I placed 2 more bar stools at it so your Sims can actually sit here. It will be functional. And I just placed a couple of dining decorations, you know, a tabletop menu, some napkins, and then that little sign up on the front. And then I added the new rug that we got, and then I, for the first time ever, use the new dining table that we got. I used it in the purple and brown swatch because I thought that that kind of matched the color scheme going on here a little bit better. And I didn't want to use the all black one because the all black one doesn't have a pattern on the tablecloth, so I didn't want to use it and then have like these just bland tablecloths. But now we're on to the upstairs, and I do another one of these wooden wall things just to kind of bring it from the downstairs up so it's not incohesive. And I add some more plants, and as you can see, I'm adding a lot of these sconces around with from the new pack with all the lights. That is because I end up deleting the subtle saucer lights, because a huge thing of speakeasies, like a qualifying factor of speakeasies, is that they're dark. That's why everything is like black wallpaper and dark wood floors and brick. They're always dark. They have dim lighting because they're supposed to be inconspicuous from back in the days when drinking was illegal. So I do end up deleting all of the overhead lights, and the only lights in the build end up being those sconces. So it is a little dark for gameplay purposes, but as long as you play in the day when the windows are shining and there's sun coming through, you really shouldn't have an issue. At night, you might want to change like the brightness or the color of the lights just to make it a little easier to see. But that would just be what I would do. And then going into here, this is the bathroom. I do end up getting 2 toilets, so it'll be a little bit easier to play in. There won't just be whole bunch of Sims fighting over one bathroom. And then I also get a bookshelf because to me, cafes just need a bookshelf. I don't know what it is, but coffee houses and cafes just need one. So I did decide to add one up here. And then over here, I get a little seating area for the bookshelf. It's one of the new couches from the pack. I use the same color as that chair I put over there in the corner. It's not the same. It's this version of the love seat that we got, but it's in the same color as the other one. And then after this, I add a couple of decorations to the exterior upstairs porch. But besides that, that is it for this build. So I hope you all enjoyed this one. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all next time. Bye!